Hey guys, what's up? It's Sam, and I read things in the month of May. So if you haven't noticed, it's the month of June, my birth month, the year the summer starts. It's great. I love June. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about the good and illustrious month of May, in which I read 9 books. Usually I read probably 4 books a month. I doubled that. I read 9. Technically I read 8, but I reread 1, so it's 9. The books that I read in the month of May were ebooks, just because I was graduating from college and I was moving back, so I had to pack all my books and put them in storage. So a lot of the books that I had were on my phone or my iPad. But without further ado, what did I read? The first book that I read in the month of May is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I loved this book. But I think A Court of Mist and Fury is my favorite in the trilogy. Aquar is also the book that I reread this month, and I think rereading it kind of helped make more sense. I got more of the hidden gems and the foreshadowing that Sarah is amazing at doing. So I think that's what made me like the book more than when I first read it. Yeah. The next book that I read in the month of May is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. I gave this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it. I remember enjoying it. But honestly, I do not remember anything it is about at all. The next book that I read in the month of May is The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I actually really enjoyed it. I loved the characters, the character development, how she tackled certain issues in it. Is it good representation for the topic that it discussed, which is kids with anxiety and who have gone through physical abuse and foster care systems? I have no clue, because I've never been put into those situations. But for a good story, it was pretty good. The next book that I read was 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I had never read the book, and as we all know, the Netflix series came out, and I really wanted to watch it. So before I partook in those 13 episodes, I read 13 Reasons Why, and I am so glad that I read it. I finished it in one sitting. It was so good. I was crying at the end of it. I was a blubbering mess. I felt things, and as we all know, if you can make me feel things, you are a great author. Like, hands down, you're great. I love the characters. I love the story, how the story was told. So it was so good. This book that I read was Kindred Spirits by Rainbow Rowell. As everybody knows, I love me some Rainbow. Oh my goodness. So when I found out that she had made a novella short story-esque book, I had to read it. It's about 96 pages. And it's about a girl who goes in line to see the new Star Wars movie and the friendships that she makes there. So here's the thing. I'm a Star Trek fan. Die-hard Star Trek fan. I've probably watched Star Wars once. Each movie at least once. So half the references that are made in this book, it just went over my head. Completely. I had no clue what they were talking about. That aside, it was a really good book. I loved how you got a sense of who the character was in this short amount of time. It was great. The next book that I read is Georgia Peaches and Other Forbidden Fruit by J. Robin Brown. I really liked this book. I think I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. And you're probably saying, but you really liked it and you gave it that number. Let me explain. I liked it, but I had problems with it. There was a lot of plot holes in the book, and the author tended to ask of the reader to suspend belief a lot, and a lot of the dilemmas that appear in the novel felt very inorganic and just thrown in rather than flowing naturally and inherently. The next book that I read this month is one that I actually have the physical copy of with me, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Let me tell you something. Everyone needs to read this book. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. Down to a toddler. Okay, maybe not a toddler, but you get what I'm saying. This book is phenomenal. Like, I give this one 5 out of 5 stars. The characters are so diverse. The writing style is totally unique. Something I have never read in my entire reading-esque life. And it was really eye-opening. If you don't know what Hate You Give is about, it's about this girl who sees her best friend get shot by a police officer and the ramifications of that. Oh, it's just so good. Oh. This book that I read was actually an audiobook, so I listened to it, and it is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I don't know how you say her name. So, that one. I actually read this back in April, and I didn't really cared for it as much. I was just, but I thought I would give it another chance, and I saw that the audiobook was read by the author, and so I was like, maybe her reading the poetry would help me like it more, I guess. So I gave it another go, and honestly, I just, The audiobook is about an hour long, and by the end of it, I was just like, oh, okay. It didn't stir anything within me. I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads just because it dropped the ball. So in total, in the month of May, I read 3,512 pages. If you don't count the one that I reread, if you do count the one that I read 4,212 pages. Holy cannoli on biscuit horns. That's a lot of pages. Ah! If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, still give it a thumbs up because of my pretty little face here. Ting! And I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.